Hello and welcome to Reality Recapped, where I recap all of the trashiest reality shows. My name is Heather and I have a degree in psychology, and it's through that lens that I watch these shows and make my comments. I want to make clear that I have not met any of these individuals one-on-one, and so my comments are limited to what we see on TV and what I read, information that's out there. This is all opinion. None of this is factual, and it should be taken as an entertainment, a little bit of education, and a whole lot of snark. I'm reviewing Sister Wives, episode 6, Telling Truly. Kody comes over to Christine's house to hash out more divorce details. And I've slowed this down so you can appreciate the hair tossing. It's amazing, and he reminds me of this guy.
I need to tell Truly that I'm leaving her dad. Kody and I tell Truly together. I want her to see us as still a team.
This is a smart strategy on Christine's part to make it kind of a united front. I just don't know with Kody and how volatile he can be and how he can say things out of nowhere that he potentially could say something in this talk that would completely undermine Christine and teamwork. Christine is smart in wanting to do this. She knows that everybody else knows, potentially Truly can find out secondhand. She also knows that the date that they're leaving is coming up, so doing it now is better. But Kody has different ideas. As always, Kody has a different timeline of when things should happen.
Basically avoiding the idea of telling her.
I don't think Kody is caught on that his inaction is kind of what ends up snowballing things. So like his inaction with Christine leads her to leaving. But I think this is his go-to strategy for just about everything. Procrastinate, put it off.
I still think maybe we can get reconciled. Yes, maybe I'm just in a state of denial and I don't want to tell Truly yet.
It's better though that if she's confused about what's going on, you have the opportunity for her to process everything and to have conversations in person about what's happening. So as a parent, I would think you would want that instead of the bomb's going to be dropped and then she's going to move a few days later.
First of all, I need to start taking her with me and maybe have her for a few days. So I don't know why I haven't, just because I've been so busy with other things. But
this is so classic him. He could have had all this time and all this opportunity to spend with his children, not just Truly, but with all of his kids. And it didn't even occur to him to create that. And now that she's leaving, now he's wanting to try to make it up.
I'd like Truly to come over to Robin's house and hang out with me.
I want her to come over every week.
Christine's face says it all. Very little, very late, but better than nothing, I guess.
3 or 4 days, we'll get a bed for her or whatever.
I'd like a separate bedroom for her. What are you thinking?
He is not thinking at all. Look at that expression. Can he think? He has to go back and ask Robin what she thinks, and then he'll know what he thinks. Christine says she thinks it's great that he's going to spend time with Truly. Truly really wants that. And then Kody drops this wisdom upon us out of nowhere.
Here's the thing. When people are losing something, if you give them something, they don't feel like they're losing something.
Here is Kody being Confucius, Confucius. I think he thinks this is pretty profound. It also doesn't make a lot of sense, like most of the things he says. Christine just puts her hand over her mouth like, don't say anything. We know he's an idiot. It's been verified multiple times.
I want her to have to deal with it 10 years old.
I know, 11, but she's...
God, it just cracks me up that he acts like he's such a devoted father and he can't even remember the ages of his kids. He just did this to Isabel in the last episode. He thought she was 18 and she was 17. Kody goes on to talk about what he's wanting in the situation. And again, he's not thinking about his kids. He's thinking about his perspective and what's good for him.
Stay easier, more convenient for me to just hang out with the kids.
He says convenient a lot, like what's convenient to him, what works for him. And he doesn't just do it with Christine. He does it later on when he's talking about Janelle living in the trailer, because everything is about his comfort and his convenience. It's not about other people.
Miracles can happen. Like Kody and Christine could figure something out.
Robin says that Truly's going to come stay at her house and hang out with her kids when she's visiting Kody. And one of the things that worries me is that she's going to attempt to confuse Truly about what's happening and give her false hope potentially. Maybe she thinks through Truly she can kind of pressure Christine to come back. And I just worry about that her child being left alone with Robin and Kody. One of the things that bothers me so much about the show, and I think other people feel this too, is that there's clearly information that we're not getting. And I think the piece that they're not talking about is their beliefs, their faith, and why they believe the things that they do. And the ramifications of Christine leaving is not getting into, the celestial heaven, the highest power having their own world. If you believe that, of course it makes sense that you're going to be in complete denial that this is happening. This is the worst thing that could happen. And Christine's going to be banished to hell if, they're following these beliefs. So it's all these puzzle pieces that we're not getting, and it's frustrating because no one's talking about it, but it's definitely there. I have thought about doing more of a deep dive, like an investigation into kind of the belief systems that they've all come from and the things that they're not speaking about. If that would be of interest, let me know. In complete contrast, Janelle says that she completely understands why Christine's leaving, and she also fights the feeling to leave, but luckily she has kids there that help keep her there.
I don't see anything that would keep her here in Flagstaff.
Christine's talking about packing up things and wanting areas of the garage to be clear so she can start putting boxes in there. And she's asking Kody to, go ahead and take care of your stuff. And like always, Kody doesn't want to do it right away. It's not a good time for him, Christine. Come on now.
No, we can wait.
I don't want to move my stuff out.
He has such an attitude when he's talking about this, and he's saying, she didn't ask me about any of this, and this is not what I want, and I don't want to do it. And it's like, yeah, you don't have to move your stuff, but I'm sure it's going to end up in a dumpster if you don't. So she's actually being nice by giving you an opportunity to come take it. And he could make this so much easier for her, and he's not going to because he's petty and not a nice person.
I've tried to give my wives sort of this sovereignty to feel like they've got control over their lives. I made it so I had no control over mine.
This is pretty typical of him to go into victim mode, that, he was just such a nice guy and they're taking advantage. He doesn't have any control. And that's not true. You still have control. You can also make choices and you can make decisions and not put stuff off. And if you know your wife's upset and not happy, go talk to her and go work it out instead of shrugging your shoulders and acting like you don't care. One of the things that Christine is asking Kody to move is the food storage. And he's like, wait, you don't want the food storage?
We bought this as a family. It's
Like, have food storage in case the end of the world comes.
The economy collapses.
Tornadoes,
When the second coming of Christ comes,
like a flood, a snowstorm where you can't get out.
I don't really have any food storage.
Poor Mary. This is so typical. And it's a display that he doesn't really care about her and she's not really thought about.
I'm not going to live in fear like that.
Kody goes back to how quickly all this is happening.
Because she could have started talking to me about our relationship a long time ago. It feels hostile to me. I feel like she's done this as a backstab.
I don't know if he actually even believes this himself or if this is just his way of eliminating himself from any sort of responsibility, which he has a huge tendency to do. He's always the persecuted one. He's always the victim. Why are you guys picking on Kody?
Well, for you, maybe it's been a rush, but for me, it hasn't been a rush.
I mean, in the end, I'm still not going to tell Truly. Kody is not ready to tell Truly. And I want to play nice and I want to play fair.
So Christine's going to hold off on telling Truly. And now we go to the B&B that Mary owns. And Mary has been advertising this fun little workshop that she's not releasing any details. So what the workshop is on, we don't know. But it's $6,000 for the VIP experience. What do you think? You guys going to go? Let me know. Let me know how it was and if it was worth your hard-earned money. I don't think it will be. Janelle tells us she's never stayed at the bed and breakfast, and the reason is because it's haunted. It's funny because I didn't think Janelle would go for stuff like this, but okay. So apparently this is the chair that the ghost will sit in. And oh my goodness, this ghost is messy. Janelle tells us that she didn't see a ghost and it was all good and it was a very nice stay. Mary tells us it's been a couple months since her mom has passed and she's been going back and forth to watch it, and she has a friend who might come and stay for this summer, but she doesn't know. It's all up in the air. Janelle and Kody are packing up to leave, and Mary says that Janelle's trailer is actually really nice.
I need to get back so I can test.
Kody doesn't feel like he can be away from the little kids at Robin's house more than 2 or 3 days at a time.
It's good that he wants to be around his kids. I wish that he would want to be around all of his kids because they all need him.
I appreciate wives who are supporting me with just trying to be careful with what's going on with COVID.
Of course, he's referring to Robin and not anyone else.
My relationship with Kody has not improved as far as like a husband and wife relationship. Not something that he's interested in.
I want to touch on this briefly. So I know that the belief system of the church that they come from, and again, I don't know what beliefs Mary holds now, but the belief system is that if a wife leaves, she is damned to hell. If she stays, even if she's suffering, she will have more blessings in the afterlife. So even if this life is really miserable, you end up getting rewarded for it later on. So maybe she's thinking, I just need to hang in there.
I feel like my relationship with Mary is very good, but it's not a married situation. It's an amiable relationship, but I don't think it's a fulfilling relationship for Mary, not in the gall of bitterness with Christine. On the other hand, I have a fondness for Mary, but I'm not feeling betrayed by Mary. I feel betrayed by Christine.
It's not surprising that he has this standpoint. It's very frustrating, though, that he thinks that women should just settle for whatever scraps he throws at them and just stay sweet. It's really infuriating, and I wish Mary could be released from this, because it doesn't seem like a very happy life. It seems really painful and really sad.
Big day. This is exciting.
Janelle and Kody pull the trailer up to Coyote Pass and park it.
A generator. Now I've got to hook up some water tanks. There's a lot to be done.
Focus all my time and my money and my resources on finally building on a garage with a small living space above it.
Out of everybody in the family, Janelle is the one who's really forging ahead. They had a vision. She's figuring out how to get it done. And instead of being inspired by her, people are just kind of laughing at her behind her back and saying they don't want to do it.
But I do not want to live in the trailer. I was just forced into moving into an RV.
Typical Kody, always the victim, never has a choice on anything.
Isabel's moving to North Carolina in August. She's going to go to a college where Maddie and Caleb live. She's moving in with them.
Isabel's packing up her bedroom, and of course, typical sister stuff. The sister's in there just kind of harassing her and teasing her and, making comments. Typical family stuff. And she's saying she's really going to miss her, though, and it's cute.
I'm bisexual. Mariah told us that she was gay. Immediately I thought, oh, so is Gwendolyn. I knew immediately.
Christine says Gwendolyn and she have had really good conversations about it. And Gwendolyn teases Christine and tells her that she's also bisexual and that she has celebrity crushes. And Christine is such a good sport and is just playing along. And I really like her response to all of it, and I appreciate also Kody's response to Mariah coming out and to Gwendolyn as well. And it makes me really happy that they're being so supportive of both of their kids. So going back to Isabel.
Kody got her a car, so we can drive across country. I talked to Kody, invited him to do it with us, but he's not coming with us.
Anytime I spend time with Isabel, I spend most of my time doing a lot of work to draw her out of herself. I don't know why she's not talking to me.
I'm sure that feels very hurtful to him, but you also have not been there for her, so you're going to have to do more work. My worry with Kody is that he can't do that with the older kids. The younger kids just adore him, but he struggles to connect with the older children. Isabel strikes me as a very sweet, kind person who never wants to hurt anyone. And even though she was hurt by Kody, I don't know that she would ever be able to talk to him about it because she would be so worried about hurting his feelings. Again, I could be completely wrong, but that's just kind of something I gather from her and from what Christina said about her.
I'm sorry I can't go.
It's okay.
You're not going to become a bitter old housewife.
No.
This language really bothers me. It's very offensive. It's very much the underpinnings of it is that women are ridiculous. They don't have any points ever. And clearly she has a point.
I think Isabel is probably hurt that I didn't go, but there are people depending on me.
That is true, Kody. There are people depending on you. And Isabel is one of those people. The issue is, why do you give preferential treatment to certain family members, to certain children of certain mothers? That's the issue. A lot of people need you. Not just 2 kids in Robin's home. Not just one wife, but all the wives. And this is the frustrating part. Everybody understands you have a lot of people that need you. The problem is you don't understand how many people there are. You need to expand your circle.
Christine sees this as an excuse. She sits there and talks to the kids. She has their ear. I do not.
I don't think Christine is going out of her way to make Kody look like a bad guy. I think Kody is not treating his kids fairly, and they're smart enough to see that for themselves. And there's no denying that he does that. They all see it. I don't think Christine is doing anything, trying to alienate anyone. But she's also not going to pretend like everything's okay. And I think that's what Kody wants. I think he wants her to be the buffer of oh, your dad's a great guy. Well, no, your dad's failing. And this is what's happening.
I would describe my relationship with my dad as it's fine. I'm going to miss my mom more than I'm going to miss him, I think. I don't actually think we're close at all. Getting a divorce more, so I think that they both deserve to be happy.
I'm going to miss Isabel. I'm not excited for her to leave at all.
Are you going to miss me? That's funny. How much? I might cry. I'll miss you still. I hope that I'll always see Janelle, Robin, and Mary as my moms. Their kids too. I want them in my life forever. They will always be my siblings.
I think it's going to be okay for the siblings. I do worry though, when a narcissist gets discarded, they end up going after the person that left them. They feel devalued. And so they end up creating kind of a war zone. And I just hope that doesn't end up happening. I hope that Kody doesn't tell his kids things that just create more trauma for them. I hope that they can just not say anything, be amicable when they see each other, and move forward.
All right, we are on our way to see Janelle's new house.
My girls and I think Janelle's insane.
Mary would not live in an RV. Robin would not live in an RV. Christine would not live in an RV.
This is not probably the first best choice. I'm doing this for a reason.
I really wish people had more respect for Janelle and what she's doing. She is doing the ultimate sacrifice, living in small quarters, living without a lot of amenities like power, like water, basic things that we all take for granted. And it really bums me out that people aren't more respectful towards what she's doing. She's willing to sacrifice to make a dream a reality. And it bums me out that people are being so judgmental about what she's doing and kind of looking down their nose at her. I think she deserves more respect than that.
I still have about a week before I have to be out of the rental. And the move has proven more challenging and more time-consuming than I thought.
Moving is so exhausting. It's like you have all this stuff that you've accumulated if you lived in a space for, at least a few years. And then you have to sift through everything. And you have to say, am I going to hold on to this? It's an heirloom, so I'm going to have to hold on to this thing. I'm going to have to move it to this other house. And you're not actually using any of those things. Maybe this is why I'm a minimalist. I hate stuff. It starts to feel like it owns me very quickly. So I'm very particular about what I have. And unfortunately, I'm starting to buy more and more furniture. So we'll see. But I have decided I'm definitely doing a moving company next time. I am not moving all my stuff myself. Get ready for the most awkward greeting ever.
Hi, honey.
Hi.
Hey.
Hi.
I really would be shocked if Robin, Kody, and Mary ever end up building out here.
Janelle is so perceptive about what is actually going on. It's interesting. She says that she's okay with them not moving out there. She's going to just have a really beautiful view if there's no houses obstructing her view.
Once we're able to pay off the property, I think we're going to build.
I don't know if I believe Robin, and I also don't know why no one is speaking about the fact that they have almost $1 million home. Why is that not being brought up as part of the issue with not being able to pay off these land payments? Not that they can't live in $1 million home, but if there's only one wife in $1 million home, that's an issue, right? It's like a glaring issue. Mary talks about what she thinks is happening with the land.
I do feel like I'm kind of losing the excitement of it, and especially Kody. So I don't know what's going to happen with it.
Kody, the battery didn't charge, so there's no lights. Yeah, the solar didn't charge. I don't know, maybe because of the smoke.
There's been a lot of fires up in Flagstaff last summer and then the summer before that. So I think that's what she's talking about there, which is such a bummer. A lot of acreage catching on fire. That's scary too. Janelle says that she's feeling a little bit discouraged because the batteries are something that she needs to run the lights, the fridge, everything. It's too bad because sometimes you can have the refrigerator can run on two things. They can run on electricity and it can also run off of propane. So you have a backup in case the solar's not working, or you have a backup if the propane ends up running out. That is such a bummer.
There's no septic, there's no water, and there's no power.
So look, people have lived through much more difficult things, and she definitely can do this. It's not a question of that, but this sounds so incredibly stressful, and we've been going through such an incredibly stressful time with everything that's been going on with COVID. I imagine being out in the middle of nowhere has its own layer of stress, and then you're out there by yourself with your child. I think building is also stressful, so she's got a lot of stressors happening, and sometimes we don't realize how overwhelming things can feel until we get into the situation. So it's important to always recalibrate. If you decide to make a decision and then you get into it and it's overwhelming, you can always adapt. You can always change. You're not stuck in anything. And I think she ended up moving off of the property. I think she said it was because Savannah was having a really hard time living out there and she just didn't want to do that to her again another year. I want to go back to what I was saying earlier, though. I think Janelle deserves a tremendous amount of credit for trying to do something and trying to forge ahead. I think that's an admirable quality.
I'm not a big fan of trailers. I don't think anybody should have to live in them.
Okay, so I'm not a huge fan of Robin. That's no surprise. But I agree with her sentiment. It would be nice if everybody could have stable housing that doesn't depreciate, that is an asset rather than something that loses value. I understand that not all trailer homes lose value. I understand that some that are tied to land and the land is owned along with the trailer can appreciate. But I think the vast majority tend to depreciate, lose value over time. And so people end up losing money in an attempt to have a stable home. And that makes me really sad. I am not going to go off on a housing tangent, though. It's just too heavy, and it upsets me too much. Okay, so here is Robin saying what she's going to do.
Despite my concern, I'm going to put on my happy face.
Christine is the friend that we all desperately need.
Hey, you have a new house.
She is such a ball of positive energy.
Really big.
No matter what she thinks, she's going to always try to make you feel better.
I think the world needs more people like this. I love people that are like that.
Christine and Mary don't think it's cool at all. They think it's stupid. And so they are teasing Janelle. Oh, this is awesome. I would never, ever live in this, but it's awesome for you.
I don't think Cody's reading this situation exactly. I don't think he understands that different people want different things. I also don't think he understands that just because something isn't something for me doesn't mean that I can't understand how someone else would enjoy that thing. I can expand my world beyond my own preferences. And that, in a nutshell, is what's really wrong with Kody. He can't do that. I could see Mary being nasty because she has that side to her. I don't think Christine has that nasty quality in her. I just don't see that. I'm sure at times, everybody can be nasty to some degree, but she doesn't operate from that place very often. I've never seen it anyway.
Decent sized, and she has more cupboard space than I thought. I think she can make this work. That's a great shower.
I don't actually believe that I will ever use this bathroom. It's just too small. Shower somewhere else. The bed is big enough. Where am I going to put the suitcase?
It's almost comical how quickly he's coming up with excuses as to why he's not going to be able to stay there.
The contrast I'll be living in between Janelle's house and Robin's house is going to be so significant.
Bragging about the disparity between two of your wife's homes seems a little short-sighted, doesn't it?
It's going to be for dogs. This is Savannah's bedroom.
The dogs will live outside here.
No, they will not.
Gonna have to pick between me and the dogs.
Like you're here one day and 4. It's gonna choose the kids, gonna choose the dogs.
Janelle is so clearly over Kody and all of his stuff. And here we learn that they did live in a mobile home.
With Kody and me and Janelle and Christine. When you're living in a 3-bedroom mobile home with 3 wives, you have to have a lot of patience.
I just don't think Cody's gonna like it there at all. Loves his comforts. And it's just like another excuse to stay at Robin's house, sorry.
Robin makes it convenient for me to be there or reinforces my relationship with my children. If you're not around a lot for a wife, she takes it personal. She starts to feel like a victim. She feels like plural marriage is unfair.
Poor Kody. I mean, he just can't catch a break with these women.
In this case,
Janelle has a tiny house, tiny kitchen, tiny everything.
and if I'm not around, she will start to feel like she's marginalized. But she made choices that are major inconvenience to me. Now there's an inclination for me to go, well, I've got hot water at Robin's house. You know, why am I going to sit here and suffer with you with your choices?
Oh man, now that he explains it all, I totally get his side. I mean, clearly everybody else is in the wrong. Obviously, I'm being very, very sarcastic. I'm really happy that Christine decided to do this off camera. I respect that, and I think we all do.
That was the worst conversation of my life. Truly overheard me on the phone with McKelty's.
I said, yeah, I'm excited to move too. And then I heard a gasp. And I looked behind me and there was Truly.
So I sat Truly down. I told her we're moving. And I said, well, there's more, love. It's just you and I that are moving. It's just the two of us. Are you and Dad getting divorced? She started crying again.
And told her, no, we're already divorced.
Have you noticed anything really that different between Dad and I? Have you noticed that we're not getting along? He's not really sleeping here anymore. She's just thought for a minute. She goes, no.
Gwendolyn and Isabel are moving out in a couple of months. It's not like we see everybody that often. Be more alone, and she would be lonely here. But in Utah, we'll be right in between Aspen and McKelty, where we're going to see them all the time. Envelop her when she's around them, and it's what I want to give her for the rest of her life, enveloped in love.
I want a relationship with my children, especially those who are young and vulnerable. If she sets Truly up with, well, Dad's never here anyway, right? I mean, she's leading Truly down the road. So my relationship is bad with my younger children. It's not always my fault. It's that I haven't had a mother who has been willing to actually help that.
See, Kody is not responsible for his bad relationship, you guys, and you should stop giving him a hard time about it. I mean, yeah, true, it's fair. He didn't go over to their house and see them for a really long time, and yeah, it's true. He could have called them on the phone, but he doesn't like to talk on the phone. It's very inconvenient for him. You guys just don't understand. This has been so hard on him. I want to point out Kody's talking about himself. Christine is talking about Truly.
I have just said the hardest thing to my little girl. It was the day I broke Truly's heart. It was awful.
And as much as I know it's the right thing to do, today's just really hard. And now I have to tell Kody too that she knows.
I felt like a pretty cruddy mom today.
Christine knows she's still making the right decision, and she's ready to move forward. That's it for this week, you guys. Hope you have a wonderful week, and please like and comment.